Hey y'all, it's your girl Lizzie Yayo, forever keeping in the bando with Hype Magazine. And on today we have a beautiful guest by the name of Rhonda Clark. How are you doing today, Miss Rhonda?
All is well. How are you, Lizzie?
I am blessed and highly favored. Um, I love your music for one. Uh,
Thank you.
can you please tell everybody who you are and what it is that you do?
I am Rhonda Clark, vocalist. I have been singing since I was old enough probably to sing and talk. I have my first album was Between Friends, and that album was produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I signed to Clarence Avant, who signed me to Sony on the first album, Universal on the second album. Those albums have been re-released, by the way, and are still playing across the globe and being sold, which has kept me alive and just been a blessing from here to Africa. Um, got African falling, UK, American falling, all over, and I thank God for that. Um, so uh, that, like I said, that album came out and it was produced by Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, also Sid Cheney and Phil Wright called Stinny, and a guy named Chucky Howard. That was the first album, Between Friends. Jelly Bean Johnson had something on there. Another guy, Randy Rand, who worked with Sherelle. And then the second album came out and it was produced by Gerald Levert. Miss him very much. Miss Clarence Avant. Oh, man. And that album was produced also by Chris, two guys from LA, Christopher Troy and Zach Harmon, and also had Saida Garrett and Marva King doing some of the songs on there as well. So I have been blessed to have some of the greatest producers, including the guy next to me, Simeo Overall from Cameo. Get in here, let them see you. Simeo Overall,
Hey, how are you?
who produced and co wrote this third album with me, and one of the most phenomenal producers across the globe. And of course, 2024 is going to be a stellar year for us. And I have one of the most awesome, well known managers in the business, Don Cody. Uh, he's amazing, and people who work with Don D. I mean, this is to come back. I've seen some of the articles. Rhonda comes back with this powerful comeback, but I've been blessed from the beginning with God just blessing me with all these great people who are very much responsible for making sure I have awesome product. And I'm also a writer, you know.
Oh, that is just amazing. Your journey and being blessed with those opportunities. When you were younger, was that something that you've always been interested in doing as far as singing or being a vocal?
Yes, and when I was discovered originally by Bob Sports, so but before then I was in singing old since I was old enough to talk, and so um, I was singing in bands at like 13 and 14, and the power you hear in my voice has always been there since I was 12 or 13. And so I started singing off in bands. Guy named Maurice Davis did, put a band together for me at 14, and I had some of the greats around, like Grace Thomas, who was singing songs. In fact, I remade a song because a singer from Flint, Grace Thomas, sang this song. She was singing this song, "Never Loved Another Man," and she was singing so it was so awesome that I wanted to remake it, and Clarence Avant gave me the chance to remake that song. So
Oh,
that's how that came about on that album.
that is awesome. So, between friends, it marks your debut in 1989. What
Yeah.
memories or emotions stands out to you when you reflect on that time in your career?
I was just so excited to have a deal with Clarence Avant. You know, Bob Swartz gets me over. He calls Sony up because he managed, I think, at one time Bob Seger. Bob Swartz has passed away, but he just to have a call saying, you know, they want to sign you, and then to go to the Sony convention And Clarence, I remember sitting there and I was talking to Clarence. He said, you know, it's going to be a lot of people there. I mean, everybody, you know, this was a Sony convention. Cyndi Lauper came up to me. That was phenomenal. And to just sing. And I said, I'm not scared. And he introduced me, if you see the old footage of the girl that's not scared. And I walked out on that stage and I sang. And I had already asked Clarence, I'd already said I would love to have Jimmy and Terry. And I told all my friends one day they're going to produce me. So I meet them backstage and they're like, you know, you did a phenomenal job. And, you know, they were kind of surprised that this big voice coming out of me. And I think a few days later, Clarence goes, yeah, so Jimmy and Terry are going to do some songs on your album. I'm like, God, I asked God. He sent me people. He said it would be, and it was.
Yes, yes,
And so, you know, that was phenomenal to have that on my album as a new artist, you know.
yes. So,
Yeah.
with State of Attraction became when it became a hit, reaching number 6 on the Billboard's Hot
Yeah.
Black Singles charts. Can you
Yeah.
share the inspiration behind the song and what it meant to you as it climbed the charts?
Yes, I remember sitting in the studio with Jimmy. They had, you know, Jimmy Jam, they had created this track and I heard before that Jimmy and Terry will let you like write. I forget who it was that was talking about. They worked with Jimmy and Terry and he would let them, you know, Jimmy and Terry would be like, "Yeah, you got some words, put it here," or whatever. I don't know. I never asked Jimmy and Terry how they did it. I just know that when I got there, Jimmy had the music and we were sitting there and I started saying little things like a conversation between friends, you know, ordinary thing, or, you know, and he was writing and he already had the hook. A funny chill came over, and I was like, wow, I'm sitting here and now the song, and then the song comes out. And I started thinking about like being in the studio with Jimmy and he's sitting here, he's got me a whole track and already has it and let me add a little bit here and there. And then it goes up the charts, you know. I was like, I didn't know what to say except thank God. You know, I just really do. I really do pray for real. You like, I'm not saying people don't pray, but when I say I pray, I mean I sit and I pray and I ask God and I walk away believing that whatever I asked Him for, He would give me. And I asked Him for everything I had, including Jimmy and Terry, and for it to be a chart holder, and it happened. So
Yes,
it was a blessing from God.
that's love. That's love, definitely. Your sophomore album in 1992 featured a cover of Millie Jackson's classic, If Loving You Was Wrong. I Don't Want to Be Right. What drew you to that particular song, and how did you approach when you put your own spin on it?
I I started singing it in a band because my mother used to play it. So, you know, I grew up listening to country music, R&B music, blues, right? Different, all these different songs. And I loved her, you know, the way the way she was singing it. And so I was out there in LA and I had to perform. The song was not on my album at that, you know, it had not been recorded. And I said, well, can I sing this song? Because I would like to sing it. It's one of my favorites. So I sang that song. And when I got off stage, I said, Clarence, I want to make that song. And he said, let's do it. Chris and Zach went in, did a track. I said, and um, put this funky beat on it. I told him I wanted to do it my way, this way, that way. And I mean, I'm telling, you know, Chris, this is what I want to do. They're such geniuses. They went in, did what I wanted them to do on there and what they thought would make the song a great, you know, song. And I recorded it.
So, you would say, as far as being a singer, the compatibility has to be in place as far as being able to construct a song. Would you say that?
Yeah. I mean, when you have great producers, they bring out the best in you, you know. It's days I'm in here singing and then we go with Simeo. He tickles me like if I'm singing something and I'm a perfectionist and so is he. And if I'm doing it and he knows I can do it, but I'm such a perfectionist and he knows I'm doing it right, but I'm just not pushing it out right. And when he coaches me to like, Rhonda, come on, show up, Rhonda Clark, there she is.
Right.
Then, you know, that's the collaboration you need. You need somebody that believes in your talent and knows how to help you to be the best that you can be, the best you. And so I think all of that matters. And I've always been blessed with having the best of the best.
That is awesome. I love that. Can you tell us, how do you keep your voice? Because some people, they say lemon and tea. What is your remedies?
I'm very, very, very particular about my voice. I don't put too much on it. I cover it up. I do the lemon and the tea. I do a lot of natural remedies like I do juicing, beet, celery, carrots, and things like that. And I know it's difficult for people who smoke, to stop smoking, but that's the one thing I never wanted to do because I know those things can ruin your voice. So I try not to put anything on my vocals that will have an effect. Um, if you listen to that album, they call me, the girl. Uh, I guess the press was saying at one time with 1,000 voices because I can go high and go low and all that. But the only way I keep that is to make sure I baby these. I baby these. I protect them in the winter, put a scarf around my neck, even if I don't wear a hat and I'm wearing a sweatshirt. Try to make sure that I keep my vocals solid.
Right. After a hiatus, you returned in 2009 with the single Papers. What
Yeah,
motivated you to return, and how did you find the landscape of the music business since it's changed during the time that you've been away?
I was just writing about divorce, uh, and I just, I write about anything. I can hear somebody talking and I won't write what they're saying. So I don't take people's lyrics, but I just write about life. And that was about divorce, somebody showing up on the doorstep. Uh, and Fraulein Randall, another awesome producer, god brother to me, did the music for that one. And that was Papers. And it was just about divorce, you know. And yeah, that one was about divorce. Shall I say anymore? I
I
don't
love it. I
know.
love it. You're so real. I love it.
Somebody might think, "Oh, is that personal?" Ah.
Okay. So, that did the time change? Like the music changed though when you came back to doing it, like to singing?
Yeah, the thing is that I never stopped doing music. So I usually just do what I feel. To me, a good hit is a good hit. If it has the best of the best producer on it and the best music and you do the best vocals you can do, uh, and keeping up with the times, that's why unique things, when people when they decide, okay, I'm not going to try to do what I hear here or there. I'm just going to do what I feel, what I know is good, what I know is solid, what I know I would listen to, what I know has meaning. Then to me, it works, and that's that standout, unique type of music.
Yeah, because
When Simeo came in here, we just writing. I was just writing, just sick love, crazy kind of love, it's
yeah,
true, you know.
right. So you have such a unique voice. I had chances to
Thank you.
listen to you and everything. I
Thank
love it.
you.
Who inspired you, or did you have anyone that you looked up to?
You know what, Lizzie? When I was young, I listened to every artist. I never wanted to be able to sound like any, but the fact that I could mimic anyone from record to record, I could sing this person sound just like them, sing that one to sound just like them. So I would practice being able to sound like anybody, but I had my own style.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that inspired me most were like Aretha Franklin, um, Jennifer Holliday, but even before Jennifer, and I met her one time, she's just a sweetheart. Uh, Betty Wright, people that my mother used to listen to, um, emotions, because they had a different sound. So I
Yeah.
could sing soft and sexy when I did theirs, but I could do gutsy and, you know, high when I did Millie. I could
Excuse me.
do Aretha.
Oh, sorry.
No, bless you, sweetie.
Thank you.
Um, so I could. all those different people inspired me. Even like Sam Cooke, uh,
Yes.
country singers I listen to even now. So those were some of my Patti LaBelle, some of the greatest singers that I just loved. I looked up to. I would listen to their songs over and over again. Patti and Aretha and Natalie Cole and Emotions and yeah, Phyllis Hyman.
Oh,
So those were some of the people I really looked up to, and I just loved listening to their music. I like words. I like meaning, not
mm,
just a good singing voice, but I like words that have meaning.
yes.
Yeah.
Your with your career spanning several decades, how do you think R&B music has evolved, and where do you see it's changing or going for the future?
I think it's amazing. Artists are doing what they feel, and I like that. That was my thought early on in my career. Sometimes it just was not allowed in the earlier days before I came along, and even when I came along. The thing that I love about Clarence is like, what do you want to do? I could have written songs on my first one. My manager at the time was just trying to make sure I got out there. And so he wasn't really for me writing. It wasn't that he didn't think I could. Clarence heard what I could do, and he was like, write something. And I didn't, but I wish I had, because Clarence was giving me to go to do whatever I wanted to do. Uh, Bob was trying to make sure I got what I wanted. Clarence believed that I could get what I wanted because he was the man in power. He was gonna make sure that if I did it, he was gonna push it. So I think artists now are doing exactly what they want to do, and it's working. They're doing what they feel. They're making music how they feel. It's not, it doesn't have to follow a certain type. It's just out there. You know,
Yeah,
Simeo sometimes he'll pull up artists that are new and rarely heard of, and I mean they're we already know they're going to be a hit. They're coming fresh on the market. It's changed in that way. People can have people like uh, Don Cody pushing their song. Works for Sony, works for all the big record labels, and so it's evolving in a way that it gives the opportunity for anybody that's talented to come along and to succeed.
yes.
And artists are working with each other. You know, um,
Shout
it's
out
just
to
amazing.
Moses Media.
Yeah, shout out to Moses Media, Don. They're amazing. They're international production and promotion company, and I blessed to have him as my manager.
Right, yes. What what are some inspiring words that you would give someone that is coming up in the industry?
In truth, do what you feel and do not let anyone tell you who you are. Know that whatever you put out there, don't stop till you get it. If you want it, you can have it. I've always believed in it. I've never believed in letting anybody tell me what I cannot have. So that's why I'm still here. I believe that God was going to do it. I know how he was going to do it, but he made it to where both my albums are selling like crazy. The old albums selling to one of the guys from Africa said, Rhonda, he hit me up in my inbox and he says, he says, when I see 19-year-olds over here buying your records, I'm like, wow. So who can tell you what you can and cannot have? The only person that can stop that is you. And
Mhm,
if you don't stop moving, you know, and shaking and moving,
mhm.
then you're gonna accomplish every goal you have, and that's what I believe.
Yes, I agree. Do you have any other projects that's coming up in the next year to come?
2024 is gonna be a stellar year. Um, I have the EP that will be dropping in the new year. Um, my next song, "Lay Me Down," is awesome. This guy over here, it's awesome because of Simeo. Um, I also have a song with one of the Dayton family members, Shoestring, rapping on my song.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. And so I have a wonderful manager who's making it all happen. Look, I'm doing an interview for Hype magazine.
Yes, we're outside.
He made that happen, you know.
Yes.
And I've been doing interviews across the globe for top radio stations on my new song, That's All Right. And Sick Love is still being played. Uh, you know, I have radio stations still playing and in heavy rotation. So, uh, movies, I want to do movies. Uh, yeah.
I could
So,
definitely see you in some movies.
thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for gracing this interview here with Hype Magazine. Can you tell where everybody can find you at?
All over what? Spotify, YouTube. The song is being released. It's released on every
And Facebook.
Facebook, every major place you can hear it. You know, when you hear it on the radio, request it wherever you are across the globe.
Yes.
You know, listen to it. YouTube, go tell me how you like it. So every place, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Rhonda
Thank,
Clark. It was a pleasure. I'm going to make sure that I stay tapped in as well because I can't wait to see what you have coming out for the next year.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. This has been wonderful. You are a sweetheart. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Until next time.
Thank you. Yeah.